Yeah, it's actually 5,200 job listings every day on ePad. So that's a lot of opportunities. So there's no excuse for you guys not to find a job that you're interested in. There's plenty of opportunities out there.
New jobs that keep adding every day or instead just
Yeah, added every day. Yeah.
fresh jobs?
Fresh. Off the press.
Fresh.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot. We were actually shocked too. We were meeting with Mr. Easterland. He works in the Career Development Center. He's one of the advisors, and so, or career counselors, excuse me. And he was telling us this, and we're like, "Are you serious? 5,200 jobs every single day." And he was like, "Yeah, a bunch of like a long list of them comes in, and he's one of the people who goes through and sorts which ones actually post on track. So even all the ones that come in, not necessarily are all posted on there. So there's a lot of different opportunities on there for NCSA students.
Okay, and how many people do you think, or what percentage of people do you think get hired for a job that's not advertised? So basically through networking. 40%? Okay. Any other guesses?
70%.
70%? Anybody else? It's 60 to 70%, so you were right on it. So yeah, 60 to 70% of people get hired based off jobs that aren't posted. So like we were talking about networking, a lot of times you might get a job, that you didn't even know was available. You might be talking to an employer, be like, hey, I'm really interested in this, and I have experience in this, and they can get you connected with someone, and you might get hired like that. And you never, had to apply for a job that was posted on like EPAC or another job search site. And then the next thing that says, it's harder to post online than to just talk to somebody, so it cuts down time. So it's easier for them to network with you and talk to you and offer you a position that way than going through a bunch of applications that have been submitted online. So that's why networking is so key. And we actually have an activity for you. The sheets that you guys got that have a bunch of questions on them, it's like a trivia game. We're going to give you guys like 3 minutes to answer them, so just see how many you guys can get through, and then we'll go through the answers. Start the clock here. and stop. Was there anyone who was able to get through all of them and thinks that they answered all of them correctly? No. What about at least 10 of them? Does anyone want to share their answers?
Red color for the girl said red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, indigo, and violet. For the second one, it said no one is a coconut tree. Third one, Charlotte. Fourth one, red cardinal. Fifth one, air. Sixth one, red, white, and black. Number 9, hillsborough. 10, palm tree. 12, panthers. And it said 15, that one happened to 15.
So I'm gonna run through the answers real fast for anyone who wants to know them. So the first one, the colors of the rainbow, Roy G did, like she said, red, yellow, orange, green, blue, indigo, and violet. The second one, the answer is there is no banana. The third one, the largest city is Charlotte. Number 4, the state bird is the cardinal. Number 5, what can you hold without ever touching or holding your hands? Your breath. So you're kind of close with the air. NC State's colors, red, white. Number 7, NC State was established March 7th, 1887. Number 8 was a pillow. Number 9 is Hillsborough Street. Number 10, you were right with the palm tree. Number 11, there are 20 career ambassadors. Number 12, the Panthers are North Carolina's home football team. Number 13, you were right, the Patriots won in 2015, and in 2000 it was the Rams. Number 14 was 1967, and the last one is a piano. So you were right with that one too. Good job. So would anyone like to share what their strategy was for answering all these questions or trying to get through as many of them as possible? Okay, yeah, they both said do the ones that you know first. Did anyone else have a different strategy? That was everybody's thought process? Okay. So like we were saying earlier with the strategies, y'all kind of had a game plan and went for it and were able to answer as many as possible. The ones that you knew, and skip the ones that you didn't know. So that was kind of like what we were talking about earlier, having a plan and going through with it.
Okay, so we're going to talk about creating a vision. And I'm really grateful for all of you guys for basically sharing your fears with me. It was a really vulnerable thing to do. And someone shared that they were afraid that they wouldn't like or enjoy the job or internship that they got. And that's actually a fear that I have as well. Do any of you guys share that? Raise your hands. Yeah, I think that's a pretty common fear. And I think what's really important in career management in general is knowing that it's all about you, basically, in a weird way. So you have to make sure that you understand yourself fully, what your goals are, what your aptitudes are, and you kind of shoot for positions that suit you or are suitable to you. Like, for example, she is a math major, and when she said fun statistics, like, I almost groaned because that is not me at all whatsoever. So it's really important to have a clear vision of what you're going to do, and you can do that by kind of amassing a list of people that you really admire. Maybe it's Drake, Hotline Bling, he has those moves. But it's also professional acquaintances. You should be really aware of places that you like to work and other information like that. Okay, sorry. Okay, so how many of you guys spend more than 2 hours a week on social media? Me too. We're not digital natives, we're millennials, but we were raised on social media. It's kind of our playground, right? It's definitely how we kind of grew up and communicate with each other. But it's really important to kind of clean up your social media before you start this job search process. You don't want someone to stumble upon your like old Facebook post that's talking about how much you love Jesse McCartney. I didn't do that at all, never. You want to make sure that you update your DPAC. with the information that was shared to you by Livia. You want to make sure that you update your resume and your cover letter. Now, a lot of times people think that they are their resume and their cover letter, and that's definitely not the case. You don't need to make up some grand title for yourself on your LinkedIn. It should be very accurate and true to who you are and your skills and aptitudes. But you want to make sure that you have a really strong understanding of what your brand is before you get started in this process and before you start putting yourself out there. And no, we are not sponsored by Vistaprint. I think like everyone should kind of give them a nod, but it's a really good idea to start creating business cards so that when you do meet people and network, you can kind of just quickly, here's this card. And the last part of the first part of the preparation process is making sure that you join industry organizations. You might want to join American Marketing Association, for example, or Public Relations Society of America, if that's where your field is. You might also want to consider kind of saving money for the informational meetings that you're having. And those are not bribes, they're not days, but it's just a way of showing that you really respect the person's time by taking them out to coffee, treating them to coffee, and kind of picking their brain about your industry and field. You also want to send out your resume to 3 to 5 professional and academic contacts so that they can basically be the references that you will probably list on your resume. And then there's always the dreaded question. So tell me about yourself. And when you can hear that question, your mind kind of clears. Suddenly you don't know your birthday, you don't know anything, you will rattle out your social security number to like any person who asks. And the way to kind of get around it is by like perfecting your elevator speech. And that's something that we talked about at previous launches. Does anybody kind of remember what that is? It's like brownie voice right here. Elevator speech.
What do you say when you first meet someone, kind of showing them what you want, what your goals are, what your intentions are, as well as kind of showing them your strengths and skills?
Exactly. So I'm not going to tell you, my whole life story. I'm going to kind of distill that to the strengths that I have and the experiences that I've had that kind of make me a strong professional in the field that I want to go into.
Alright, so we're going to do another activity. We talked a lot about networking today and how important it is. So what we're going to do is I have a ball of yarn, and we're going to create a network in this room. So I'm going to start, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what kind of career I would like to go into or a job that I'd be interested in. And then if somebody in the room knows somebody that's in that career or knows somebody who knows somebody, so some sort of connection to that kind of career, then I want you to stand up, and then I'm going to give you I'm going to hang on to my piece of the yarn and give you the yarn. And then somebody else, then you're going to stand up and you're going to say, all right, here's a career I want to go into or a job that I want to attain, and then we're going to keep doing that. And always hang on to your part of the yarn that you get, and we're going to create a network. So I'm going to start. I would like to be an actuary. Does anyone know what an actuary is? No?
Say no.
All right, so an actuary is pretty much, it's risk assessment. You are basically predicting numbers. So with that, if anyone knows anyone who's in a math-related field or somebody who is an actuary, all right, what is your name?
Hello.
And tell us your connection to an actuary or math-related and
I myself, I wouldn't say I'm an actuary, but I'm a construction engineering management graduate student, and I have analyzed risk and finance. So as you know, the construction industry is a dynamic industry. You never know what you cannot predict how it's going to go. There are so many factors in operating, so risk assessment is quite important for this.
okay.
So that's for me, and I of course have a lot of friends and other things as well.
Okay. And what do you want to do? What is your career goal? What do you want to be? All right.
Tough question, that's what I'm still thinking.
Okay. Then name something that you'd be interested in. So when you job search, what kind of jobs do you search for?
I'm currently looking for a job opening as a project engineer.
Okay. Does anyone know a project engineer or
Wants to be a project manager.
some sort of connection to an engineer in general?
Any other engineers in here? Potential ones?
Okay. One
Who
of you all
wants to
can
stand
stand.
Yes.
You were the first one, so go ahead, you can stand. All right, so pass the orange to her. Okay. Okay. Well said. Okay. Does anyone know or want to go into pharmacy or that
Shoot.
area?
Her. What's your name?
Katie.
Katie.
Y'all can pass
Yeah.
the yarn down, but.
Help us out.
You can go ahead and start talking.
Oh, okay. My connection, I guess, with her is I was a finance intern for a biotech company this past summer. I would like to do something in finance, whether it's financial consulting, advising, or something in